Hi everyone, welcome to Afrotech. Please like our video and subscribe to our channel. Today we are going to learn about proactive risk management. In this video, we learn about introduction to risk management, standard risk model, risk management process, risk management metrics, risk management approaches. Let's start with some introduction about risks. They say a risk in project management is an uncertain event or a condition that could have positive or negative impact on the project's objectives. The risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, mitigating risks in order to minimize the impact on the organization or the project. It is an essential part of project management as it helps to ensure that the project is completed on time, on budget, on a given constraints. What is standard risk model? When you look at standard risk model is the most helpful and of all the typical risk models for comprehending project risk and associated cost. The components of this model are the risk event, the event that triggers the risk event driver, that particular factor which determines that the risk is going to happen. In fact, from the video you can see something within the project environment leading to someone that the particular risk is going to happen. Then you also look at the probability of the risk event. When you talk of the probability, you're going to look at the likelihood that the event will occur. Then the risk management process. They say managing a risk is a 5-step process. If you streamline or modify the process on your own, it will still burn down to these 5 steps. What are the steps? 1. Identifying the risk and the impact. The first step in risk management is the process to identify all the potential risks that the organization may face. This can be done by brainstorming, conducting surveys, or using risk assessment tools. Once the risk has been identified, they need to be documented in a risk register. In fact, a risk register is a document which includes information about the risks, its likelihood, the impact, and the owner. Who is the owner of the risk? This is the person who's going to be responsible for the risk. In case the risk happens, the person who will manage the risk and make sure that it doesn't have so much impact on the organization. Now we're going to look at the second step, which is analyzing risk. Once the risk is already identified, they need to be assessed in terms of their likelihood and impact. This will help to determine which risks are the most important. In analyzing the risks, we are going to look at the likelihood of the risk, the likelihood of the risk, and the impact of the risk. So we are going to develop a scale for both for likelihood and the risk. The scale, let me say you may set it from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest likelihood. In fact, the lowest level of the likelihood and 5 being the highest. For the impact, you do the same. You can say 1 is the lowest impact it will have, or 5 being the highest impact it will have. Now, by multiplying this, the likelihood and the impact, you will come and realize a risk score, which can help you to prioritize the risk, which is the next step. Now, the next step, as I talked about it before, we are going to prioritize and map the risks. The risks will then be prioritized based on the likelihood and impact, the ones we talked about in the previous step of analyzing the risk. The risk can be prioritized using a number of methods. The risk scores we talked about, the value at risk. They said the value at risk is the potential financial loss that organizations will experience or could experience if a risk occurs. This is a more sophisticated, in fact, a more efficient method, but it requires more data because when you're going to look at the potential financial loss, you're also going to involve yourself in calculations to the records. A risk, you look at the risk and its particular effect in terms of cost, it is going to be so much of a data. Then you also need to assess the impact on the organization's objectives. The fourth step is resolution. These steps involve activities like mitigation. After the risks are prioritized, then strategies are developed to mitigate or reduce the impact. Then risk monitoring. Once risk mitigation strategies have been implemented, it's essential to monitor the risk continuously to ensure that their effectiveness and identify any new risks that may arise. Then communication. You also need to ensure communication in order to you have to make sure that there is effective communication with the stakeholders. They have to be aware of the risks, the mitigation steps, and what have been taken. In fact, the steps which may involve to be taken if the risk is particularly to be solved. Then the last step, we are going to look at monitoring the project risk. The risk management process is not a one-time event, so you need to keep monitoring on an ongoing basis to ensure that they are all still being managed effectively. The risks will be monitored for changes like likelihood and impact. If a risk changes, its priority may need to be adjusted. The risk management process will also be viewed and updated on a regular basis to reflect changes in the organization's environment. So we're going to also look at risk management metrics. These are used to measure the effectiveness of risk management process. They can help organizations to track progress, identify new areas where improvement is needed, and make better decisions. There are a number of different risk management metrics that can be used, but some of them include number of the risks identified, number of risks mitigated, the risk exposure. The matrix measures, when you talk of the risk exposure, the matrix measures the potential financial loss that the organization could experience if a risk occurs. It can be used to prioritize the risk or to make decisions about how to allocate your resources. Then the other metrics may include time to mitigate the risk, the given time you need to solve the risk, then the cost of the risk management. We're also going to look at the risk management approaches. There are many different risk management approaches, but some of these we have selected here, the most common. The top-down approach. This approach involves identifying risks from a high-level perspective and then cascading those risks down to the lower levels in the organization. This approach is often used in large organizations with complex operations. Then the next approach is bottom-up. This approach involves identifying risk from a lower-level perspective and then aggregate to the risk with a higher level in the organization. Then there is also a hybrid approach. This approach combines the top-down and bottom-up approach together. In fact, for something to be hybrid, it needs to be a combination of all things necessary. So they are using medium-sized organizations to combine combine the top-down and bottom-up approaches to look at risks and manage them successfully. Here is the overall summary on risk management. They said the best risk management approach for any organization will depend on the specific risk that organization faces. By considering the factors discussed above, organizations can choose the risk management approach that is appropriate for their specific needs. Thank you for watching our video. Please like it, you can comment on it, and please subscribe to our channel. That was all we prepared for risk management. We are going to have more videos about risks in projects. Please subscribe to our channel to get them in time. Thank you.